Good afternoon, everybody. This your boy Ben Mahari here, represent MehariNation Sports Podcast. Welcome to Saturday afternoon boxing talk. Salute to the entire LDBC. Salute to the greater boxing community. And we got a special guest here today, the one and only, the lovely Miss Boxing. How you doing today, sister?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Man, just having a very good day so far. I
That's
just
good.
finished watching some old boxing today, so feeling pretty good today.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, saw your stream last night. Y'all went wild, man.
Yeah, we try to have a little more fun on Fridays, and on Sundays we get a little bit more serious.
Oh yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it, though. No doubt about it. I see already some people that already came in. Samuel Prime, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Jay Cooley, what's going on? How y'all doing today? Make sure y'all smash the like button on the way in here. So tonight we got KSL versus Logan Paul. I'm gonna tell you something though, Miss Boxing. With due respect, I got no interest in this fight. I really don't. I really don't because this is listen. You got two YouTubers that never ever boxed before, and now they're making this a sanctioned boxing fight, and they're putting it
Hmm.
on actual television on an app. I'm sorry. I
As a
listen.
main event.
I know it's like, come on here. Like, what is going on here? Like, why are we showing this off to boxing fans out there? It's like just do it on YouTube. That's where they made their money at. And I was like, just disappointed
Well,
though.
the
So
reason I think that there is not on YouTube is because it's honestly it's not for them. It's for the zone. I think
mhm.
the zone, found this as an opportunity or thought this was going to be an opportunity to get some of those tens of millions of followers that those YouTubers have, and I don't think that's going to work.
Me neither. Neither do I at all. But I will say this though, I am interested in watching a Devin Haney fight, on the undercard too. So I mean, there is something to look forward to, I guess, if you wanted to put it that way. Because I always feel that Devin Haney is going to be the guy that's going to get all that limelight and attention down the line though. So what do you expect out of the whole card tonight?
Oh, well, I know, and I'm not sure who Billy Joe Saunders is fighting. I can't remember, but he is fighting. It is going to be good to see him fight because I didn't see his last fight, and I know he was suspended for a little while. So,
Hmm.
and I'm interested in seeing how he looks tonight.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely, though. Too, I'm anxious to see how he'll perform there too. It's been a while since I've seen him fight, but
right.
enough of that though. Because listen, to be honest with you, I have no interest in this fight. I really don't.
None whatsoever.
None, because there's the thing. Listen, they're basically, to me, in my perspective,
Hmm.
and from my perspective, is like, listen, you're this is basically discretion to the boxing game because these two guys have never ever boxed in their lives.
Right.
While we have other boxers who've done this for almost their entire lives, they should get this opportunity to have their own pay per view or something like that. Even hell, put Devin Haney on the pay per view and see how many people will buy that card. To be honest
Right.
with you, but enough about that. I just wanted
Right.
to ask you about the big heavyweight championship fight that's going to happen, and we're only about 2 weeks away. We got Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. Man, you know what though? I'll be honest with you. I loved the first fight. I was clamoring for a rematch. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
we get what we want. So, what do you think? How do you see the rematch playing out to you, sister?
Mahari, this is really tough for me because I've seen, both of them in camp, seen videos and stuff like that, and seen interviews, and both of them seem to be very calm, very cool, and ready, and very much in shape. Oh my goodness. I That first fight, I'm going to be completely honest because I'm
Hmm.
always honest and I try not to be biased at all. But in the first fight, I was so disappointed in Deontay Wilder, and I felt like if that fight would have went 12 rounds, he would have lost. I really felt like that. Um,
Ooh, okay.
yes, I did feel like that, and that's how I know I didn't have a bias because I had like butterflies in my stomach and everything. I really thought he was going to lose that fight.
Hmm.
This time I feel like he has something to prove. A lot of people are upset about the rematch, but I don't see what the big deal is. Um, but I think that he does have something to prove that, because first of all, that fight was close. His fight with Tyson Fury was a draw. I think he has something to prove. I think he's gonna go out there and I think it's gonna end kind of quick, but I don't think it's gonna be easy. I'm gonna say about 4 or 5 rounds. I think he's gonna knock him out, but I don't think it'll be
Ooh.
easy.
Ooh, I don't know about that. He see, I really think to me, I think people are maybe, maybe just not valuing, Luis Ortiz's skill set. I really
Right.
think that his Cuban pedigree is going to continue to give him problems. But because to me, he's not going to make the same mistakes he made in the first fight. You know what I mean? He's not going to try to overextend himself. He's going to try to
Mhm.
make Wilder come to him. So to me, I think this is going to be a much more of a difficult fight in the second time around. But I do agree that Wilder
Wow.
will knock him out. I just don't think it's going to be quick as many people realize. I really think that Luis Ortiz, listen, there's a reason why many of the heavyweights, abduct this man because they know his style creates problems. And Wilder was the only man to get it there to say, hey, you guys are ducking this man. I'm going to show you. I'm gonna fight this man and I'm going to beat him. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
I think to me, I think what Wilder's going to have to do better is that one, he's going to make sure he doesn't get sick this time because remember he came into the fight at what 217, I think.
Right. Right.
He came in there sick and he lost a lot of weight through that. If he comes
Right.
in right around 222, 225, that's his perfect fighting weight because then his right hand is going to be much more deadlier to combat against. But I think the other thing that he has to make sure he does is using that jab proficiently because if he doesn't use that jab, effectively against a Cuban southpaw, it's going to create a lot of problems in terms of trying to, get Ortiz to feint on that jab and then leave himself open to that right hand. You know what I mean? It's like, I think to me this fight is going to be much more of a chess match than rather just a slug 'em out type of fight.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's what it is. But and it seems like there's no personal beef, so you're not gonna see anything like
Mm-mm.
with Stavern or with
With Brazil.
yeah, Brazil. But I mean, what if he comes out like that? Do you think it'll end early then?
I don't know. I listen the Brazil fight though, bro. I mean, sister. Listen,
Oh, he got
I knew
hurt.
I knew Wilder was gonna end that thing, very quickly, but I didn't expect it to be the first round. I'll be honest with you. When I actually ordered Showtime with my brother and my
Hmm.
mom, who doesn't watch boxing at all, was actually sitting there. She was looking at like, who is this skinny black guy? and then after the knockout happened, I just stood up. I was like, whoa! And then my mom was like, what did I just saw? Like
And
she
it was
looked at the
over.
TV. She looked at the TV. Was like, did I just saw this skinny black guy knock out this big fat
Hmm.
guy? Because like
Yeah.
that's what she literally was telling to me. So I was trying to explain to her like, no, he's not skinny. He's actually very big and athletic. So I had to literally explain to her like, this is how he's built. And when that knockout happened, I kid you not, I felt like that my television screen was going to like, you know, I felt the sound was gonna get ruined because it was just a pop. It's just like poof. And it
Yeah.
was the number one trending knockout of all YouTube. You know what I mean? It,
Hmm.
it was there for almost a week. It was the number one trending thing on YouTube. It was fun.
Yeah.
So I think this time around, I think it's going to be a much more about more of a tactical fight this time around. But I think
Hmm.
it's going to end it with a Wilder knockout, in my views. You got
Late.
anything,
And
you got anything else to think about?
you're saying late, like 10, 11?
10, I think 10 rounds in my view. I don't listen. I don't believe that Luis Ortiz is going to get knocked out too easily. I don't believe that. I think it's going to be much more of a tactical fight this time around. But I think Wilder's strength and his athletic ability and his relentless pressure is going to overwhelm Luis Ortiz down the line because many people don't give Wilder credit. He has a good chin and he has very good stamina too.
Yeah, he does. Absolutely. He
You know,
does. And he
yeah,
keeps his power throughout the entire 12 rounds. So, yes.
exactly. Because unlike
Hmm.
Anthony Joshua, and we're gonna get into Joshua and Maurice in just a bit, but I felt that that Wilder's power and his ability to keep his conditioning up, helps him out in the later rounds too.
Hmm.
That's why I think that Wilder's gonna beat Ortiz in 10, than rather just having it end quickly. Because I don't believe that you're not gonna knock out Luis Ortiz within 4 rounds. I just don't see it.
Mm.
So let me
Yeah.
go ahead and check out the chat real quick before we get into
Okay.
Ruiz and Joshua in a few minutes here. So let's go after the here. Anthony Bolton says, "What's so crazy is that I'm actually following them two throughout my little nephew, and they really don't like each other." He's talking about the Logan Paul and the KSI thing. Okay, Jess Boxing says, "Salute to all the people in the chat." Anthony Bolton said, "To me, it's just celebrity boxing 2.0."
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. Anthony Bolton says, "Salute." Samuel Pryor says it's just boxing. He said, "I feel like Wilder and Louise too is going to be a swing fight." Okay, okay. Mark
Mm.
Stern says, "Salute Mahari in the chat." Now that's how you dress up a podcast with the Queen, Miss Boston. Salute, Queen.
What's going on, Mark?
Yeah. Mark Stern says, Mike Spock says, "Salute." Jay Cooley says, "After this, here's a question." He said, "After this, who do y'all think that will give Wilder a fight with Andy? Probably a fight, probably fight him, but for Wilder will kill that man." He's talking about Ruiz. Okay, okay. I can see that to be
Oh,
possible. I don't know though. That could be tough. Mark Stern said, "Salute," and it's just like I said, Wilder beats Ortiz in 10 rounds.
okay.
So, a lot of different opinions on
Yes,
the
it
matter there,
is.
but I think it revolves around what we were talking about too. So, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel the kind of same contingent. Now we're gonna get it. Now I want to get into the Ruiz and Joshua fight. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I never bought into the hype of Anthony Joshua. I really didn't. Listen, I really want. Listen, I hoped a year ago and 2 years ago was, you know, I hoped to see, Wilder versus Joshua. It never happened. And then
Mhm.
now you see how what happens when you play Ring Around the Rosie, trying to let the fight marinate, stuff like that. Like,
Right.
and then after that, you lose. Now you lost your opportunity to make $50 million, and now Joshua will never ever fight Wilder again because he doesn't believe in himself. But let me get into the Ruiz and Joshua fight. So,
Mhm.
how do you see that fight going out there too?
Oh, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think Anthony Joshua is going to beat Ruiz. I
Okay.
don't think Ruiz is gonna knock him out again. I don't think that's gonna happen. A lot of people think it's gonna be the same as part one. But I see it going possibly same thing like you said, late
Mm,
rounds, 9, 10 rounds. But I think AJ is gonna knock him out. Now, something you said a second ago is that you've never bought into the hype of AJ, right?
mm-hmm.
If you've never bought into the hype of AJ, then are you buying into the hype of Ruiz? Because if there was no, if AJ is, you know, a nobody, I'm not saying a nobody, but not as good as we thought, then are you buying into the Ruiz hype?
Ooh,
Because I'm not.
that's a very good question though. I like the way you dressed the question though too. Um, I'll be honest with you. Here's my true honest opinion. Okay, I when the fight was actually made, because remember it was supposed to be Gerald Miller versus Anthony Joshua, and then Gerald Miller failed his drug test, and the fight never happened. So when they put in Andy Ruiz there, I'll be honest with you, I never really was sold on the idea of Andy Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua, because I just thought that, what, Joshua was going to run over him, and then eventually we'll see what Joshua does from here. But when the day of that knockout happened, I was listening to Cali Nicholas live stream, and I was just listening to the commentary, and I was sitting there like, what is going on here? And then Andy Ruiz came back off of that knockdown and started, you know, hitting Joshua with right hands, and Joshua did not move his head. But I
Right.
think, to me though, I think that it's going to be a tight fight though. I'm not sure. Listen, I don't believe either of those guys could beat Deontay Wilder. That's just a
Me
proven
either.
thing.
I don't either.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that, to me, I think, in my opinion, at least, I got Andy Ruiz winning the fight. But I don't think it's going to be a early round knockout like it was the first time around. I think
Hmm.
Joshua's going to do better in terms of keeping his muscle down, because listen, Joshua is way too muscular from my view, because you can't carry all that kind of muscle and expect to go full out the full 12 rounds, because holding all that muscle requires a lot of oxygen and a lot of stamina. And I felt that Joshua, when he got hit a lot and when he started swinging and missing, he got really, really tired too quickly.
Hmm.
You notice when Wilder, Wilder in the later rounds doesn't get really too tired, and I noticed that. But when I noticed with Anthony Joshua is in later rounds, if he doesn't get his second win, he doesn't move his head, and his arms always drag down as soon as he gets hit in the later rounds.
Right.
I
Right.
don't know. I don't know. I think I'm going around. I think I'm going around the board a little bit. But I'll put it like this. No, I'm not buying into the hype of what Anthony Ruiz did. But is he capable of giving Wilder problems? Yes. Can he beat him? No.
Okay.
So
I don't think he can beat him either. But
right.
but I mean, he may be AJ again. I just don't see it. I don't see this happening.
Well, there
I
is a
just
reason.
can't.
Well, there's a reason why Eddie Hearn and all the other section buyers are making sure that Wilder don't become undisputed.
Oh,
And
that's never going to happen because and you're probably going to get into this. Yeah, you're going to get into that later with the franchise stuff. But
I will.
yeah, I definitely think that I think AJ is going to pull it out. I don't think Ruiz is going to win this one. I really
Okay.
would like to see what the betting odds are. I can't wait to see what those are.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. That's going to be a telling sign there. But
Yes, it is.
yeah, but
Absolutely.
I wish they would have made this fight in America then instead of Saudi Arabia because it's absolutely ridiculous they made it in Saudi Arabia. And did you hear about the story about when those WWE wrestlers who had to wait 7 hours on the tarmac in the Saudi Arabian airport before they were able to come home to the U.S.?
Mhm.
I
Yep.
mean, it's just like really you got to put that rematch there, really?
Yeah.
You could
That's
have put it. You could have put it in the UK. You could have put it in China. You could have put it anywhere else. But Saudi
right.
Arabia, really? I
Yeah, I don't understand that. And it seems like this might be a new spot, you know?
don't
I,
trust. Listen. My brother studies politics,
mhm.
and he would tell me a lot of stories about all the bad stuff that goes down in Saudi Arabia. I'm not
Yeah.
going to get into that. I'm going to get into that here, but I'm saying that it's too dangerous to do anything in Saudi Arabia because you can't trust what's going to go down in that country.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But let's move on. Let's move on from that, let's gonna get into the subjects in hand here. So, we got 9 people here in the building though, bro. Let's keep smashing that like button, guys. Really would appreciate it. So let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Samuel Price, my Air Train brother, says I got Wilder in a decision. A couple of knockouts from both men, though. I'm
Oh
sure that.
wow.
Okay,
Oh
okay.
wow. I
It's
like
just
it
boxing.
though.
Yeah, it's just boxing. Says I'm going out on a limb. Anthony Joshua beats Andy Ruiz. Okay, okay, okay. Jay Cooley says I think AJ wins the rematch. Okay, okay. AMG
Mm.
2 says I think AJ wins the rematch too. Okay,
Oh
okay,
my.
okay. So you got some people that kind of agree with your sentiment.
That's
Okay,
right.
okay.
Don't leave me on Showtime. I remember all y'all said this. Don't try to switch it up on Showtime.
No, I won't. I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna stick to my prediction. I'm gonna stick with Andy Ruiz within 8 rounds. But if it don't happen, I will respectfully eat my crow.
Yeah, and I'll eat mine too,
All right.
respectfully.
Samuel Price says Wilder Ruiz is a big mismatch. Wilder will KO him, will knock him out by the first round. Okay, okay. Mark Stern says if Andy doesn't KO AJ, they're going to rob Ruiz. Ernst is going to do all kinds of crooked tricks in Saudi Arabia. Agreed.
That
Absolutely.
is a fact.
Oh yeah, you can't
Absolutely, that's a fact.
dismiss that at all. Absolutely. It's just boxing says Andy Ruiz is a good fighter, but I'm not sold on him being Joshua again. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. ANG's is laughing his tail off. Jay Cooley says, "No, I'm going with AJ." Okay, okay. Anthony Bolton says, "Also, I would like to add, no matter what, I would like to see Andy Ruiz faces Luis Ortiz for Mexican Independence Day in September." Okay, all right, Anthony Bolton. Okay, okay. It
Okay.
says Boxing says, "I got your back, Miss Boxing."
All right. We're
All
good then.
All right, all right. I guess I'm the only lone soldier that is gonna go on a limb and say that Andy Ruiz is going to beat AJ, and I know 78 would say so too. And also on the one hand, I just want to let 78 know this is no this. Listen, we're just talking boxing. Ain't nothing going on. Just letting you know.
Oh goodness.
I'm just
And
I'm just I'm just I'm just kidding.
oh,
But
it's
anyway,
all in fun. It's all in fun.
all right. So let's go on to the first, one of the topics I want to talk about. So WBC released the new rules about uh, the new Clenbuterol ruling. Now that they can add the different levels of Clenbuterol. Okay, and so really, I hated this because now you're basically endorsing cheating in boxing. Now, you and I already know what happened with Canelo Alvarez, saying that it was basically contaminated meat. I never bought
Hmm.
into that because I believe it was absolute garbage. Like, listen, you're basically listen. I don't know where Canelo lives or whatever, but listen, if you know that the Mexican meat is contaminated, why are you eating that stuff in the first place?
That's right.
Like, I don't understand this at all. And the fact that the WBC makes rules and exceptions to protect their main investment in Canelo Alvarez, it's really driving me crazy. Now, the question that I was posting in there was, how will this affect drug testing in boxing, though, bro? I mean, because now that you're basically trying to legalize the clenbuterol thing within the WBC, how's this is going to turn out? What do you think the issue is going to be now?
You know, what I was a little confused about is if it's if this is if this is this WADA? Is this WADA?
I think it's VADA. I think it's
Okay.
involving with VADA with the WBC clean boxing program.
Okay. And I'm sure this is going to affect other sports as well, right?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what really is going to overextend to the other sports there too. I mean,
Hmm.
it's just a rule that the WBC made, but
Okay.
I don't know what's going to deal with the other sports there too. Listen, the
Right.
drug. Listen, I researched the drug. It hasn't been approved by the FDA,
Right.
so
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know how this will. I don't know how will this turn out. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I really think that if this is the WBC doing this, first of all, what they're trying to do is they're trying to, um, because it's been so much backlash with the franchise championship, and he's the franchise championship, but he has this cloud over his head of him being a cheater. So now that they've said it's good to go, you can have up to this much. Canelo only had this much, which is lower than what you're authorized to have in your system. So he's really not a cheater. So they're trying to erase history. They're really trying to erase history, and they are really pushing this Canelo guy. I promise you, 5 minutes ago, I looked up on my TV and I have ESPN Plus on there because the UFC is on there. I see Canelo in a ring and I'm like, what's this Canelo? This is ESPN. It was a freaking Hennessy commercial. I'm
Hmm.
like, they, I don't know, they are really trying to push him on the American people and we're not going for it. But this clenbuterol stuff is such a loss for the sport. And the thing is, it's like they're trying to protect a certain people, a certain group of individuals. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying? There's
Right.
no other individuals that's gonna get this type of treatment. Nobody's gonna get this type of treatment, and it pisses me off to the point where I'm like, am I missing something?
Right.
Is this really happening or am I missing something? I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. I listen. We listen. Boxing is basically a dangerous sport. We've seen fighters die in the ring. Okay, we've had a couple of boxers that died already this year.
Hmm.
This year, okay, and for the WBC, which has already had a lot of crooked stuff in their history, to basically make up a rule to try and to allow these kind of fighters to basically, use an illegal drug that is not approved yet, is really egregious. And just like what Senor Price has said here, he said every WBC champ should drop that belt. Salute to Indago for not wanting it. And well, yeah, we're gonna get into that, but here's the thing: if I were a boxer, I would not mess around with WBC
Mm-mm.
because if I'm using clenbuterol now and would that rule apply to me because I'm not Mexican? Like
Exactly.
what is this?
Exactly. So you might as well say that all fighters can just go to Mexico and just eat the bad meat.
Right, right.
Or they can use that excuse because when they test this stuff, they don't know if it's coming from a cow or not. They don't know where it's coming from. They just know that that drug is in your system.
Exactly.
So you're opening up the door for people to cheat. And on top of that, How in the hell is somebody supposed to know? So someone who was like, okay, so now I'm good, I can eat this meat. How are they supposed to know how much meat they can eat before they hit that threshold? That doesn't make any
Exactly.
sense to me.
Me too. Because listen, if the U.S. government saw what was going on with this ruling and figure out what Clenbuterol is, listen, if this were any other fighter, they would they would probably stop the sanctioned fight, and the promoter would probably have to pay severe fines from this. But since it's the WBC and they're not stationed in the U.S., I mean, it's like they could make up their own rules, and it's not in their jurisdiction unless if the boxer decides to put them in bankruptcy, which I wish they would have done years ago with this. Got that one fighter that basically sued the WBC and put him in almost put him in bankruptcy. I forgot his name, but I'm not worried about that. The point is, the point is, every fighter should not accept a belt from the WBC because
Absolutely.
because if they're endorsing cheating, then you know what? I'm not gonna mess around with your belts because what the belts is that you're trying to make money off of me. But if you're gonna allow this one fighter to basically use a drug that's not approved, why should I go in the ring and fight you then? All right, because it's absolutely ridiculous. So let's go ahead and check out the chat there real quick before we continue on. Okay, Jay Goulart says boycott the franchise title holders. We're gonna get into that with the Deontay Wilder thing in a few minutes. It's just boxing says they just made Canelo untouchable. It makes no sense for any fighter to compete against him. It's not a level playing field. There you go. And by the way, guys, at 6 p.m., I'm going to have Renee Boxion to come down here, and we're going to discuss about the whole issue with Canelo Alvarez and the whole protection scheme. So stay tuned for that. All right? It's just boxing says, okay, I'm good, bro. Denise Ward says, it's just boxing salute. How you doing, Denise Ward?
Hey,
It's good to see
Denise.
you. Yeah, good to see you, sister. Jay Cooler says, fighters should freeze the franchise title holders. Don't fight them and make them drop it. See, listen, we're gonna get into the WBC franchise thing in a few minutes here because I got a lot on my mind about that. Mark Stern says they are giving Canelo a license to continue to juice. This
Yep.
is horrible for boxing. Everyone knows cheating is going to switch to Clenbuterol. Right.
Yep.
Absolutely, Mark Stearns. Listen, all the WBC did is that they made a rule to endorse cheating. Okay. Now, if Canelo kills a person in the ring and then they found out through the drug test that he had high levels of Clenbuterol, then what? Then the WBC is going to have a murder rap on their hands, and it's going to really put their entire boxing sanctioning body, in complete ruins. It would be a PR nightmare. You understand? And
Hmm.
you know what I always and here's the thing, Miss Boxing. What really angers me when I'm learning about boxing is that Jose Suleiman is in the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like the guy kissed Don King's ass for decades and
Yep.
made all these crooked rules to benefit him. Okay.
Yep.
And then you're basically putting it down the line to your son, Mauricio Suleiman. You mean to tell me that he belongs in the Hall of Fame?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things that's just going to make my hair go gray by the
I'm
time
sure.
I'm
I mean, he
30
paid
years old.
for it. He paid he probably paid a pretty penny for it, but he paid money. He paid money for that.
I believe so too. I
I
believe
do
so because
too.
if I were a real boxing writer, I would not even touch him.
Nope.
You know
Not
what
at
I'm
all.
saying? Samuel Price said Canelo's a total fraud. He ain't no big star. Earl outsold Canelo in the last fight. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. And
Sure did.
let's get into that then. Let's get into that. So we've heard some reports that the fight, the live gate didn't do so well. And I was on Blue Bloods live stream yesterday.
Hmm.
It only did 10,000 people in the state in the arena and
What?
only produced 2 million. Like
I didn't know.
me neither until it was discussed about it. Let me ask you this:
Oh
would the
wow.
face of boxing put up these kind of numbers?
No. And the face of boxing also would not wait for UFC to finish before they started their main event. So
Thank you,
no. Mm-mm.
thank you. And the fact that the Dana White embarrassed Oscar De La Hoya again on
Hmm.
that is like, listen, it's already bad enough that boxing is crooked as it is. But the fact
Right.
that you that you had to wait until the UFC card was complete to start your boxing card? Get out of here, man.
It
Listen,
makes no sense. This did not benefit DAZN at all. They would have had more viewers if it came on at the regular time than they would have waiting till some people Eastern time, 1 o'clock in the morning. I
thank
don't
you,
know what they were thinking about.
thank you, thank you.
It doesn't
Listen,
make any sense.
listen, Canelo. Listen, I said that there should be a way for him to buy out of his contract, but that would be too expensive. It's not like Canelo. It's not like a Mayweather situation where he basically bought out his contract with Top Rank for about $750,000 and
Hmm.
became his own man. This is an expensive contract. $365 million for what, 10 to 12 fights? And listen, I've talked with a couple of people in my workplace that are Mexican. They don't even know when Canelo fights anymore because they don't see him on TV anymore. So it goes to show you that a lot of the Mexican boxing fans are losing their respect for Canelo Alvarez, not just because of the decisions he's made, the politics behind it, but because that he's not accessible anymore.
Right. Yep.
Sister,
Yep.
I'm losing my mind about this. I'm really losing my mind about this. I don't really care about Sergey Kovalev anyway because he's a woman beater anyway. But the fact that he missed weight, he had to. Here's the funny thing: I was on Blue Bloods live stream and we were doing they were doing the broadcast of the weigh-in. Okay, before they allowed the phone lines to open up. Did you know? Do you remember that Sergey missed the weight about 3 times before he could make it to 175?
Right. And I don't know if it was that scale because he got on, it was 176.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden it went from 176 to 175 and a half. Then he
Mm-hmm.
took off his drawers and he was 175 and a quarter. And then he made it after that. Something was completely wrong about everything leading up to this fight and the fight itself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're laughing, but I'm just scratching my head in disbelief.
And that's why I'm laughing. It is very sarcastic because
I know,
it's very disappointing. All the
I know,
stuff is
I
just
know.
so disappointing to
Oh,
me.
I know, I know what you're thinking. Absolutely, but I listen. Thank God I never watched the fight because I knew. Listen, if anyone tells me that Sergey was going to knock out Canelo Alvarez, you be a fool. Listen,
Mhm.
they did all sorts of crazy stuff behind the scenes to make sure that Canelo wins the fight, and more importantly, that he gets the so-called historical credit. Because listen, I don't see him as a 175-pound fighter. Come
Right.
on, I mean, you
Right.
have listen. Canelo walks around like maybe 185, 200 or something. The fact that he has to put on try to slimmer down to get down to 175. It's already hard, and you're
Right.
moving up 2 weight classes to 160. Listen, he basically picked the weaker of the champions because if you say that he's going to fight Arthur Beterbiev, different ball game.
Oh yeah, completely different ball game. And like you said, that's why he picked him. He picked him because he had just fought. He barely had any rest in between training camps.
Hmm.
He made him well the rehydration caused, so he couldn't gain more than 10 pounds. It was always something. It's Canelo is always going to have the advantage in some type of way, and that's why he moved up to fight him because he knew he wasn't going to get those type of advantages if he fought a Charlo. I'm just saying.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. But I just laughing at a comment Mr. Samuel Prime just said. He said the only way I would give Canelo any credit is if he fights Barber.
I
Yeah,
like it. I like it.
yeah. Hey, hey. I mean, heck, absolutely though, man. Absolutely.
I like it.
It's just Boxing just said. I'm beginning to wonder how accurate was his pay-per-view buys, and the live gates number before he went to the zone. Oscar De La Hoya can't be trusted. Y'all know what he is. The dude that loves to shove kitchen utensils up his rear end, and then all the other stuff that I'm not going to get into right here because I don't have the energy for it. Okay.
Now check it out. Now you know DAZN and Junior the Truth was talking about this. How DAZN never shows numbers. or anything
Nope.
like that. But Junior said, and I really believe this, that come tomorrow or Monday, they're gonna show these with these little YouTuber guys.
I believe you. I believe it. I do
Hmm.
believe it because they're not gonna they didn't show the actual physical numbers when the Sergey and Canelo fight finished up. So
Right.
I believe it. I definitely do believe it. I think it's gonna
Hmm.
probably be like 1.5 million or something like that, 2 million, whatever. I don't know. That's a stretch for me. I don't know. Listen, it's YouTubers though. The reason why I said that is because a lot of people are always on YouTube, so they're gonna always watch the next hottest thing. So that's just maybe I'm going a bit on a contingent there.
Yeah.
But
I gotta go on mute for just a second.
sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thanks.
So we're here live on MehariNation Sports Podcast with the lovely Miss Boxing here, guys. So I want to thank y'all guys for being involved in the chat here, guys. Y'all have been putting that down here, guys. For all the new people here too, make sure to smash the like button there too, and also hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon for all the latest notifications when we do go on live as well. So, okay, so let's go ahead and just to continue on the next subject in hand here. I want to discuss about the Devin Haney, uh, Tank Davis, Vasyl Lomachenko triangle, as I'm putting it here at this subject here. Okay, now everybody already knows that Vasyl Lomachenko, accepted the WBC franchise belt to avoid Devin Haney. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm back. Sorry about
All
that.
right. No, no, absolutely. We were
No,
just
that was
about
my pops. He was calling telling me that LSU was beating up on Alabama. That's all I need.
what? Really?
Yes, yeah, he said it's like 16-7 or something like that.
Oh my goodness!
Hi.
I might have to catch the highlights after the highlight of the game, and also I got to check on my Gophers there too. So against Penn State, but I'll find that out later on. So
Yeah.
I was just about to get started on the next subject in hand here about this triangle scenario going on here between Devin Haney, who's now the WBC champ, okay, at
Hmm.
what's it, 120, 130? I forgot the weight
Mm,
class.
130? Yeah.
Let me 130. And then you got Tank Davis who's gonna fight Yerquis Gamboa in a couple of weeks. And then you got the new franchise belt holder, Mr.
Mhm.
Vasyl Lomachenko, which I hate the most. And I can tell you straight up, Black Fight Fan TV, you need to stop praising him as white Jesus. Real talk. I'm getting tired of it, man. Getting tired of it. But anyway, let's go ahead. Let's stick on to here. Okay. So we already know that Vasyl Lomachenko. Oh, 135. Thank you, it's just boxing. Thank you.
Is it 135?
Yeah, I think it is 135. Let me make sure to be sure. I
Oh,
believe
that's right. They're lightweight. They're lightweight. That's right.
they're
They're
lightweight. That's
lightweight.
right. That's right. Thank you,
Yep.
this just boxing. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, between those three fighters, though, the fight I want to see either of them is one of these two guys between Haney or Davis to beat the face of Vasyl Lomachenko because egotistically in my mind, I just want to see Lomachenko lose. I'm tired of this dude. But here's the thing. Between Devin Haney and Tank Davis, who do you think has the better odds of, beating Vasyl Lomachenko?
Devin Haney.
Devin Haney? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can you explain why?
Well, I think Devin Haney is, even though he's younger, he's a lot more mature. He's like the type of fighter that knows how to follow a game plan. He can adapt. He has power. He has speed. He has everything. Tank, on the other hand, he's great in the ring. He has a lot of power. His defense is it's a little off.
Suspect?
Hmm.
Okay.
But I think that a lot of times with him, his actions outside of the ring affect what he does inside the ring. And you could tell when he's off, when he
Hmm.
has an off night. You could tell when, because I expect Tank to go in there and take care of business and do what he has to do. And lots of time he does
Right.
that, but sometimes you can see he's vulnerable in certain areas. And I think Lomachenko could capitalize on that.
Hmm.
But at the same time, he still, it's possible he could still beat Lomachenko. But I think Devin Haney definitely has the it has an edge when it has a bigger edge I think they could both beat Lomachenko. Honestly, I really do.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I think Devin. I think I would give the edge to Devin as far as percentage possibility or whatever you want to call it.
All
So I
right.
think
Fair
Devin
enough.
Haney.
Fair enough. I've said, if you guys watch Trill Boxing Talk when Black Fight Fan, throws the Lomachenko conversation into the mix, I've said that the three fighters that could have a good opportunities to beat, if I grade them, I say Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and then Tank Davis. Now,
Mm,
here's the thing with Tank Davis though. Tank Davis is a wild card to me because I know how talented he is and how talented he can be. My
mhm.
issue is the inactivity, the weight fluctuations, and I think he's done a better job of managing his weight a little bit better. But my concern was about Tank is can he keep his weight under control and can he just get and he can stay active because that's been the problem for Tank Davis throughout the early stage of his career is inactivity.
Right.
Now, Devin Haney, um, he's young, but I believe he has more upside and has more skill to give Lomachenko some problems.
Oh,
Now,
definitely.
yeah. Now with Teofimo Lopez, that's a tiny bit of a stretch though for me. I think Lomachenko may edge him out in terms of experience, but Lopez does provide some different things in the ring that Lomachenko may have a problem with. Because there's one thing that I know about with Lomachenko is he doesn't like a phone booth type of affair, and if you take away his angles, okay, then he's vulnerable to getting hit with counters.
Hmm.
I noticed that in the Luke Campbell fight because that fight against Luke Campbell was a little bit too closer than many people tend to realize. The scorecards were ridiculous. I actually had it 7 rounds to 5 in favor of Lomachenko, but with that knockdown late in the round, in the final round, made the difference. But it was close in my card.
Yeah, it was very close,
Mm,
and he got touched up big time. He's not going to be able. That's why I don't. I think that's why I think Tank and Devin Haney both beat him. I mean, Tank with his power, and Devin Haney with his skill. I think either one of them can beat him right
okay,
now.
all
And
right.
I don't know. I think it's Samuel Price that said that he didn't think that Devin was ready yet, but I do. I think he's
Okay.
ready.
Okay, yeah, I was going to point that out there too. I think Devin is ready, but but maybe the lack of experience could play a role, but I don't think it's going to be a much major role because if he has the skill and he has the deep boxing knowledge to figure out Lomachenko's weaknesses, then he should beat him. Because if you can make up the lack of experience with boxing intellect, then you should be in good shape. I'll tell you this though. I remember when Floyd Mayweather fought against Diego Corrales. Many people thought that Diego Corrales was going to hurt Floyd Mayweather. But I remember as a kid growing up, I was thinking, I think
Yeah.
Mayweather may get him here because I had a strong feel that Mayweather was going to edge him out in terms of skill. And then he went in there, not only outboxed him, but then knocked him down 3 times and stopped the fight.
Mhm.
And I feel that it could be the same way because it's going to be a clash of Lomachenko's, angle fighting and his ability to like fight on the outside and try to outbox you versus the athletic uh, Devin Haney, who also can fight on the inside and on the outside. So it's going to be interesting. So let's
It
check
is.
the chat real.
I hope we see at least
I
one of
do.
them.
I hope so too. But I listen. When the day happened when I was on BFTV's live stream and when they announced that Vasyl Lomachenko was going to be the WBC franchise champion, we were just in disappointment. I said that Vasyl Lomachenko will never ever fight Devin Haney, ever.
I don't
There's
think
a
so
reason why.
either.
Listen, he only won the belt because he basically won it as a vacated title. He never beat the champion to do it. And more importantly, Luke Campbell ducked Devin Haney for that championship belt.
Sure did.
So
Sure
I mean, come
did.
on, come
I
on.
mean,
It's
it's
not a
crazy.
coincidence.
Lomachenko would have had to fight Haney, and Canelo would have had to fight Charlo.
Yep, absolutely. So let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. Anthony Bolton says, I agree with Miss Boxing. If Devin Haney fights Lomachenko, it will be Mayweather versus Canelo all over again with a knockout from Haney. Okay, okay. It's just Boxing says Javante Davis and Devin Haney beats Lomachenko. Loma beats Lopez. Richard
Ooh.
Comey knocks out Loma. Ooh.
Ooh, I
All
like
right.
that.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Mark Stern says
Interesting.
both will embarrass Loma, but Tank will definitely KO Loma. Okay,
Mm.
okay, okay. And Jay Cooley said again, boycott the franchise title holders.
That's right, Jay Cooley. Let's keep
Tell him.
saying it. Let's keep saying it.
Yep,
And
keep
praise to
saying.
Deontay Wilder for declining that crap.
Well,
Shoot.
now you guys have led me to this next part here. Now we're gonna get into my favorite discussion we're gonna talk about. Deontay Wilder declining the WBC franchise belt. Okay, what kind of message this sends now to the WBC? What do you think?
Wow. Oh, you know what? I think what it's doing, or what the message that it's sending, is that not only boxing fans, but boxers are not in agreement with it. There's
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of backlash, and I don't honestly know how long they're going to keep doing this, if this is even going to be a permanent thing. I can't see it being a permanent thing. Maybe for the ones that have a belt right now, okay, because it's non-transferable. You'll never lose it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to continue to do this, especially when your heavyweight champion of the world is declining that championship belt, that franchise belt. But I mean, I would have declined it if I was him too.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about it. Okay, when I think of this franchise belt and Deontay Wilder, the first thing I think about is WBC trying to take something away from Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Something that he worked hard to get and he's been defending. I can't say the same for Lomachenko, and I can't say the same for Canelo. So
Mm-hmm.
looking at the big picture, it's like while the WBC is giving something to Canelo and Lomachenko, they be taking something away from Deontay Wilder. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me?
Uh-huh. And guess who's in the building too? Mr. Coach Selton Harris is in the house and the chat.
Coach! Oh, hey, coach!
Yeah. Hey, y'all make sure to subscribe to CH Combat Sports. Mr. Coach Selton Harris in the house though, man. Yeah, that dude is hilarious though, man. But he got a great mind for both MMA and boxing. So if you guys want to check out MMA stuff, go check out CHH Combat Sports.
Coach
Oh,
is the reason why I actually have a channel. Is Coach pushed me into doing it. So thank you, Coach.
all right. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So let's continue here while this is getting hot. Listen,
Hmm.
I said this on the Smoke City Mobcast Wednesday night. I think this sends a strong message that to all the other sanctioned body belts that listen, y'all need me because without me, you're not getting your bread. You understand? Because I remember what Floyd Mayweather said one time. He said that all the belts do is collect dust. All they do is they want sanctioning fees because they make money out of this. And
Hmm.
the network too. Hey, Curtis Anderson, the boxing historian, is in the house. What's going on, brother?
Curtis Anderson, what's going on?
All right, we got a star lineup here. We got a star chat here in the house today. I
I
tell you that,
see.
man. This has been awesome. Okay, so let me say it like this. I think the thing is it sends a strong message that Wilder is not going to be bullied. He's not going to be manipulated by the politics because he listens to the fans. If the fans don't like this decision, he's not going to go along with it.
Hmm.
And it goes to show you that even through all the corruption and all the politics that's going on in boxing, there's still there's still boxers out there that will listen to the fans and listen to the sentiment of what they think. And this is going to put a lot of pressure on the WBC to make a decision. Are they going to continue to try to play this protection game, or are they going to just say, "Okay, listen, we can't do this because even we can't explain it. It doesn't make sense either." Because remember, we, there was an interview on the Boxing Voice where Ness went in on Mauricio Suleiman, and he couldn't even explain what it is.
Right.
When you can't explain what you created, then why do you even include it in the first place?
Well, the big problem that I have is when you're making a big change like this much significance, when you're almost obliterating undisputed, you don't have to fight your mandatories. When it comes to something like this, the boxers need to be the ones to make that choice to say this is something that we want in this sanctioning body, not the sanctioning body. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? I
mm-hmm.
don't understand why none of the boxers were actually involved in this. And like I think it was Blue Bud was interviewing a couple boxers and they didn't even know what the hell it was. They had never even heard of it.
Right.
And it affects them because they are in those sanction bodies. They're ranked in those sanction bodies. It makes no sense at all.
Absolutely. And more importantly, too, that these boxers are trying to work to get to that same level. They want a championship belt because it provides them money and also gives them opportunity to choose their opponent, choose everything, and also which network they can represent too. And when you add that kind of situation into the mix, it creates way too much confusion than it needs to be. You know what I mean? I just believe that at some point in time, the WBC is going to have to really going to have to really clean house, or a boxer is going to, you know, sue the WBC, and they may not be as lucky this time because remember the first time they got sued, they almost went into bankruptcy. Remember that?
Yep, I remember that.
Exactly. So they let me tell you this though, man. I'm done with these sanctioning bodies. There's too many belts. There's too many rules. There's too many sanctioning fees. Turn them all. Get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
I'm just frustrated with that.
Something needs to be done. Something it needs to be monopolized or something. Something needs to happen because this is. I mean, it's like I can come up there with a belt, and say, hey, y'all want to fight for my belt? Pay me this. It's like anybody can do it. I mean, they are creating all these belts for what? And like you said, it's just for the money.
Exactly. And I will say this though, although the UFC has their own politics and their own screw jobs, the one thing that I do respect with the UFC is that they make their opponents fight each other. Because if the two contenders don't want to fight each other, they can basically send them out and you don't get money. And I think something that may need to be done to put a little bit some structure to make sure, one, that these ducky situations don't happen, and two, you're not giving these kind of awards to people that don't actually truly deserve it.
Right.
So so let's go ahead and check out the chat real quick. So it just boxing says when he was offered the franchise belt, in my honest opinion, it means nothing because the franchise belt is not for us black fighters anyway. Agreed. CJ's Combat Sports says, and Donald turned the WBC belt down. We're gonna get into that, Mr. Colton Shelf Harris. We're gonna get into that. Okay. Mark Stern says the WBC is claiming that the belt is only for fighters that can move up, and down in different weight classes. They're saying that the heavyweights are excluded from the title, likely because after Wilder said no.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay. Jay Cooler
Wow.
says, don't fight them. CJ's Combat Sports says, yep. And he says, CJ's Combat Sports, salute, sir. And Jay Cooler says, once again, boycott the franchise title holders.
That's right,
Yep.
Jay
Keep it up,
Cooley.
baby. Keep that up. So,
That's
yeah.
right.
Now, I did watch the highlights of Naomi Indago versus what's his name? What's his name? What was his
Nonito Donaire.
Thank you, the Nonito Tonere. Donito Tonere. Thank you. So, I mean, it was a good fight, and I'll tell you this though too. I felt that Nonito Donaire turned the clock a little bit though, and actually boxed very, very well, even though he didn't get decision. I don't think it was a robbery, but I think it was really a close fight though that could have gone either way. But what Colton Sheldon Harris, also mentioned too is he turned down the WBC belt,
Hmm.
which is really a lot, which is really like wow. He actually knows what's actually going on a bit because the one thing that a lot of boxers tell you is that a lot of these sanctioned bodies will give you these weird belts that don't mean anything just to try to make money off of you. And that really, to me, though, I think it's sending a strong message that the WBC is losing its credibility in terms of the boxing community. Because remember, there was at one point that the WBC was the most prestigious belt in boxing,
That's right.
and now it's being downgraded because of all the rules and all the protection plans that they're placing on Canelo Alvarez. So I'm gonna ask you about Naomi and Indo. I don't know how to say his name. I'll probably go get it right sooner or later. Oh, and it's just boxer says LSU's
Inoue.
winning 16-14.
All right, LSU better bring, hold them off.
Yeah, well, I hope
Oh,
so too. And I hope my Gophers beat the Penn State, but we'll see. But I'll check it out later. But Anthony Bolden said this is why sanctioned bodies want a boxing unit because it would make the sanctioned bodies useless.
useless.
We should have had that a long time ago when the sport was made, way back in the day, but nobody had the intellect or the direction to take it. But
Well, I
hope, but
think that's because everybody involved probably
mm-hmm,
at that time, even right now, are all about money. It's just
yep,
all about the money. It's not about the fighters. And it's a shame, we're going back to something you had talked about earlier. We're having all these deaths in the sport, and these people, these boxers and their families are having to put out GoFundMe's.
yep,
That makes no sense to me. It just
exactly,
makes no sense. Somebody needs to be out there to educate these guys,
yep,
these young guys. They really do. And I know
hey,
that they're trying to make a buck, but you got to look, toward your future too. So these
right.
advisors and these managers and stuff like that, those are the people that's supposed to be taking care of them. But it's not happening.
Oh, it's just boxing says Alabama missed the extra point.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you an LSU fan?
I'm not. I'm just an Alabama hater.
Okay, fair enough.
Plus, I'm a Georgia fan, so it would be great that Alabama loses because my heart is still broken from a couple years ago. I'm still
Uh,
trying to heal.
from that national championship game when
Yes.
Mr. Tagboa took over the second half. Oh,
Yes,
that was
sir.
oh man, that was a classic.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think of Naomi Inoue? Is this guy what do you think of him? Because I think he's still got more to prove in my eyes to really validate his worth in the pound for pound rankings.
Oh yeah, he definitely does. I don't understand why he was there to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
The people that said that the people that put him there, if you ask them, hey, name three fighters that they fought, I bet you they couldn't do it.
Right.
Um, so a lot of people kind of jump on those bandwagons when they see these journalists and stuff like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the same thing that happened with Chocolatito, but Chocolatito was actually he was a pretty good fighter. I don't think he should have been number one either. I think they're putting him on this list too fast. He does have some. I think he still does have some to prove. Winning the Super Series is that's not your validation. That's what everybody's using as
Right.
validation. Just like Usyk,
Right.
they put him on the pound for pound number one, and they don't put him as number one ranked heavyweight. Never fought a heavyweight
Mm-hmm.
before he was ranked as number one. So I do think he has a lot to prove, but damn it, he did he did prove a lot against a fighter that we did not think was going to fight like that. Because a lot of people really thought that he was going to knock Donaire out early,
Mm-hmm.
and but he definitely has some work to do. They had to go back to the drawing board. He was getting hit way too much, and I guess he's so used to knocking everybody out. I think
Mm-hmm.
he what 14 out of 16 knockouts, 16 out of 18, something like that. Um, he wasn't used to going that long and getting hit that much. So he definitely has some work to do. But I enjoyed the fight. I enjoyed both of them, and definitely Nonito Donaire. I swear, I hate to see him go. I think it's time. But for him to put on that performance, man, he made me late for work too. But it was worth it. So
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. Now I'm reading the Ring magazine pound for pound rankings. Uh, it's disgusting.
Canelo.
They put Canelo at number 3,
Oh,
and then okay, I'll read to you from 10 to 1. They put your Mr. Pac-Man Manny Pacquiao at number 10.
God.
Then they put Mikey Garcia at number 9, Juan
What?
Francisco Estrada at number 8, and then they put Gennady Golovkin at number 7. Earl Spence Jr. at number 6, Olasena Usyk within the top 5 at number 5. And then they put Nayoma Inoue at number 4, Canelo at 3, Terrence Crawford at 4, and then my one fighter I hate the most, Vasyl Lomachencko at number 1.
Okay,
Ugh.
my first thing is why the hell is Mikey Garcia in the top 10?
Thank you. And why is it that Manny Pacquiao is in the top 10? And why is Gennady Golovkin even in the pound for pound conversation? He
Thank you.
fought, dude. Gennady Golovkin has fought nobody.
Not only that, he's not moving up and down in weight. He's not
Thank you.
he's not changing weight divisions. He's not moving
No,
up.
absolutely not. I'm like, oh my God, this is just driving me crazy.
Wow.
Oh my God. And listen, the disrespect they put Terrence Crawford in, I mean, most of it's on him too. But the
Hmm.
fact that they put him at number two as the number two pound for pound fighter in the sport is a disgrace. The guy unified 140. What do you don't see?
Wow.
Oh my God, this is. If I
And he moved up.
thank you.
And and he moved up and he became a champion. How can you not?
And how could you put Canelo Alvarez in the pound for pound discussion when he basically failed a drug test?
Not only he failed a drug test, but he moved up in weight and then forced the other guy on a rehydration clause. And he didn't prove
Ugh.
anything to me by he didn't prove anything to me by moving up,
Nope.
especially when knowing that Kovalev will normally come in there 15, 18 pounds over the what he normally does. I mean what he weighs in as.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean no, boy,
You know what though? I
treatment.
would. You know what though? If the sisters were reading, if the sisters had to read this out loud, they would probably drink like a lot of wine to the point where they would just be drunk as shit afterwards.
I think that's probably what we're gonna do next Friday. Because I thank you for letting me know that. Because yeah, I'm probably gonna be all toasty come next week.
Hey, you know what though? Do that pound for pound thing and just watch the
Hmm.
reaction of a lot of ladies that are gonna be disgusted by that list. But I think
Hmm.
Beverly Rose likes Lomachenko, so I don't think she would have too much of a problem with it. But she says you're not a pimp. Um, when I ever became a pimp?
A pimp?
Because listen, I'll tell you a little something. Okay, this is for everybody in the chat. I said that I said on a super chat that I gave my own basketball because I won a basketball during a state fair in Minnesota, right? And I gave it to a young black kid who was broke. He didn't have anything, so I said, "Go ahead and take this basketball." And her mother, showed a lot of heavy hearted, heavy appreciation. Everybody took that as assumed as like, "Oh yeah, Bill's getting that mother treatment though. He pimping now with the basketball." I was like, "Oh great."
No.
I was like, "Oh, great!" And then I showed up to Beverly Rose's live stream, and then basically said, "How you doing?" It's like, "Yeah, Abel, you are not no pimp." And I was like, "Oh, great!" When did I ever said I was a pimp? When
No,
I
you're
when I
just
when
being nice.
I know I was just being nice, but when I do see Bev Rose, when I do join Bev Rose live stream, I'm gonna be I'm gonna bring all that heat. I'll be ready.
Uh-oh. You bringing
No,
the
not an insulting heat. Let's keep in mind, not insulting heat. I'm actually gonna be. I'll be nice and gentle, but at the same time, I'm coming for you.
smoke? All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, though, man. I'll tell you what, though, guys. I've had a great time with the lovely Miss Boxing. Okay, and it was a great experience to be with you, sister, there too. So I'm gonna go ahead and just shut it down for now. But I'll be back at 6 p.m. with Renee Boxyoung to discuss about the whole Canelo thing. If you feel like you want to join in, give me a heads up, okay? But you want to give any last words before we close it down for today?
Yes, please. First of all, thank you for having me. I had a great time. Yeah, I've always wanted to be on the show with you because you're one of the more calmer ones.
I'm calm. I'm calm with some intellect, but you push my
Yeah.
buttons. You
Oh,
push
I
my
know. I've heard you. I've heard you. And
yeah.
I've seen you in the chat. I was like, woo, Mahari. But no, definitely. I really had a good time. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody in the chat. And thank you for keeping me up on the football game. You guys are all great. And yeah, I'll be listening in. I probably won't be able to join, but I'll definitely be listening in
Yeah.
at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it, though. I wanted to thank all the people in the chat, though, for all the participation and everything else. And one more thing, one more notice to 78 Sports TV. I am not flirting with Miss Boxing, okay? I'm just letting you know, okay? I listen. I don't want no pistols thrown in. I don't want you to throw out the pistol at me, okay?
He's innocent.
I'm innocent. Tell that to the cops. But anyway, though, I want to thank Miss Boxon for being a great participant as she is. Hold it down. You know what I mean, and showing her great boxing intellect. Y'all make sure to subscribe to Miss Boxon. She goes live on Friday nights with the other ladies of the LDBC too. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Make sure to give all the love and support though, guys. Keep supporting all of our channels, all of our small channels, and we'll continue to keep on doing the great things in the future. All right. So this is a Bill Mahari with the lovely Miss Boxon on MehariNation Sports Podcast. Salute to the entire LDBC. Oh, and CJH Combat Sports said my boxing went out with me 7-8. Coach Shelton Harris, you a fool though, man. You are a G, bro. Real
Yes,
talk.
he is.
All right. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, Miss Boxon, and I'll
Thank
see
you,
you later.
Mahari.
Have a great
You,
night, sister.
you too. Thank you.
Mhm.